and put a little makeup. Hide the scars to fade away the shaker. Why'd you leave the keys upon the table? Here you go, create another fable. You wanted to grab a brush and put a little makeup. You wanted to hide the scars to fade away the shake-up. You wanted to, why'd you leave the keys upon the table? You wanted to. I don't think you trust in my self-righteous suicide. I cry when angels deserve to die. I'll wake up, grab a brush and put a little makeup. Hide the scars to fade away the. Why'd you leave the keys upon the table? Here you go, create another fable. You wanted to grab a brush and put a little makeup. You wanted to hide the scars to fade away the shake-up. You wanted to, why'd you leave the keys upon the table? You wanted to. I don't think you trust in my self-righteous suicide. I cry when angels deserve to die. In my self-righteous suicide, I cry when angels deserve to die. My spirit, Father, into your hands. Why have you forsaken me? In your eyes forsaken me. In your thoughts forsaken me. In your thoughts forsaken me. In your heart forsaken me. Lost in my self-righteous suicide, I cry deserve to die. In my self-righteous suicide, I cry when angels deserve to die. Said, oh no, sir, I must say you're wrong. I must disagree. Oh no, sir, I must say you're wrong. Won't you listen to me? He told me I've seen it all before. I've been there, I've seen my hopes and dreams and lying on the ground. I've seen the sky just begin to fall. He said, all things pass into the night. And I said, oh no, sir, I must say you're wrong. I must disagree. Oh no, sir, I must say you're wrong. Won't you listen to me? Goodbye, horses, I'm flying over you. Goodbye, horses, I'm flying over you. Goodbye, horses, I'm flying over you. Goodbye, horses, I'm flying, flying, flying over you. Good told me I've seen it all before. I've been there, I've been there. I've seen my hopes and dreams lying on the ground. I've seen the sky just begin to fall. He said, all things pass into the night. And I said, oh, no, sir, I must say you're wrong. I must disagree. Oh, no, sir, I must say you're wrong. Won't you listen to me? Goodbye, horses, I'm flying over you. Goodbye, horses, I'm flying over you. Goodbye, horses, I'm flying over you. Goodbye, horses, I'm flying, flying, flying over you. We're no strangers to love, you know the rules. So do I. Up for commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. Inside we both know what's been going on. We know the game and we're gonna play it. And if you ask me how I'm feeling, don't tell me you're too blind to see. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Give you up, give you up, never gonna give, never gonna give. Give you up, never gonna give, never gonna give. Give you up. We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. Inside we both know what's been going on. We know the game and we're gonna play it. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. I know you got to see me. Read underneath the dead man's hand again. I see it in your eyes. Take one look and die. The only thing you see, you know it's gonna be the ace of spades. The ace of spades.
Welcome, my friends, to XboxEra. If you're new here, let me fill you in. XboxEra is a platform for the Xbox community with best-in-class forums, a kick-ass Discord server, and of course, XboxEra.com, your destination for the best news, reviews, and features, all focused on your favourite platform, Xbox. It's every Xbox fan's gateway to the best of XboxEra. Our incredible podcasts listened to in over 50 countries worldwide, our in-depth reviews, our own merch store for the coolest in gaming threads, and of course Day One, where you can track, rate and discuss your favourite games on Xbox Game Pass. We're a small, agile and independent publication, and importantly, we're completely funded by you. If you value having a publication truly focused on your preferred place to play, you can become one of the cool kids by supporting us directly via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. You get cool swag and awesome perks, and we get to keep doing what we do. Become a part of the best Xbox community on the internet and help us grow even larger. Thank you for your support. XboxEra is only made possible by the support of an amazing community, and in particular our legendary and growing army of Patreon supporters. Our executive producers, Top, The Scarecrow 121, Peter B, Not Jack, Mohammed Sherez, Kevin S, Korkenstein, Jordan White, Jordan Andow, Frankie C, Terran H, and Britt. Our amazingly generous grand benefactors who take their support and dedication to XboxEra to another level. Krat56 and Assassin. And then there's our boss, our leader, our shining light in times of darkness, the one and only XboxEra CEO, Torn Raptor. You guys are all fucking awesome. If you enjoy the content XboxEra produce and want more of it, and you're not a patron, consider heading over to patreon.com/XboxEra, pledge your support, and get cool swag in return. Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of XboxEra Headlines. The date is February 25th, 2025, and today Jesse and I will be taking you through all of the latest that we can be bothered to talk you through of gaming news in the industry. So buckle up, there's always a lot. As a bonus for our wonderful Patreon community, we make audio versions of these episodes available for you to listen to in the Patreon app. But if you're on Spotify, you can link your account there and listen to it there instead, which is very nice. If you want to become awesome, head over to patreon.com/XboxEra, where you can pledge your support and keep us alive and fed and, you know, still doing this stuff. Hi, Jesse. Happy Tuesday.
Hello.
Here we are again. Next Thursday's our 100th episode of Headlines, bro. How are you feeling about that? It's an anniversary.
Pretty good.
This is the 99th episode. This is the penultimate episode of
it'll be good because there's always a chance Thursday is the one that's harder to find all the news for. So because you get all of Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all of Monday, Tuesday morning for this show. Then you get Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning for the next one. So hey, if something's gonna fall as an anniversary, I'm happy it's a Thursday one.
Tearing in the chat. So Phil's gonna join you for Headlines. I think He's had enough of us for now.
Yeah.
Phil's busy.
He's aware, and I know people always get mad, but like he's aware that he's out there more than anyone. We have been nicely encouraged, like, hey, there's a lot of devs and people in the company here, and we're going to try and start reaching out and doing some more stuff when it's not so unbelievably busy that it's damn near impossible for us to.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's
to
whew. Yeah, and play anywhere on Balatro now. Finally.
Yeah, we'll get into it. It's good times if you're into those things that we love called the video games. Because holy crap, the showcases aren't stopping. You know, we had January's Dev Direct. You had the PlayStation State of Play. We've now had an ID Xbox show and more. We're going to get into all of that. Some of the stuff that was announced that's particularly exciting for us, as well as all the news topics of the week. Before we do that, obviously, just a heads up in terms of content on XboxEra.com. Yesterday, Jesse dropped his review of Monster Hunter Wilds, which I think you pumped into something like 50, 60, 70 hours. Help me out here.
I beat the entire thing and all of its content in 35, which is very surprising for a Monster Hunter game. But then I kept going for, upwards of like 60. Just to see if there was more, and there wasn't, and it was sad.
Where's my end game grind? Oh,
yeah, it's like,
no.
And people are just looking at the score, which isn't the lowest out there by far. It's still a 7.5, where it literally says once they fix the gear grind, which they tend to do in post-launch, it'll be a 9. So, because it's amazing in every other way. Like, it is legitimately fantastic. They've just missed the part of Monster Hunter that I really like. So Monster Hunter in general, it's its own thing, really. It's hard to really compare to other things. It has a terrible UI, which all of its fans will say, yep, it has a UI that functions for us, but it's really difficult to learn. And that is the area I wish they had improved. Like, I wish they had really focused on getting the UI more up to ease of use for newbies snuff. Instead, they've kind of gone and really focused on the actual hunt side of things. So the whole game, they've got a little campaign. That campaign ends up being way bigger in like production value this time. It's still I don't think the story's very good, but like the actual production value of the campaign's far and away the best they've had. And it teaches you all the base mechanics, slowly introduces you to all the monsters you'll be going after. It's like 12 to 15 hours if you're a veteran, maybe like 8 if you really push it. But the whole thing is just get hunt to hunt, go from fight to fight, get better gear so that you can keep up with everything. And a lot of times it used to be and go and farm up materials and really track down the monsters when you need to find them. And this game gets rid of almost all of that for now. You get these new mounts called secrets, which just Uber you to the monster every time automatically. You don't have to do a thing. They will just automatically run to the monster, which is incredibly different for how the series used to be. You don't have to mark anything. You don't have to like follow anything. You're just always brought directly to the monsters. So that's one of the main streamlines. They got the new wound system, which makes it really easy to like chop parts off. So you are just, and you don't have to collect parts. They're always just given to you until the final carving at the end. Like they've streamlined all the hunt stuff, but the UI is still a mess. So I don't think it's actually going to help new people that much. They're going to still feel pretty like
overwhelmed.
Yeah, because the UI is really hard to learn. Once you do, it's functional, especially if you hold down left bumper and flick the stick in various directions and you get all the things you need right away instead of having to hold left bumper and then press X and then go through and then like it's a lot. There's a lot to learn in the game. It's still amazing, and I think give it a few months and it will be, I think, more worthy of the 89 open critic it has right now for people who like what Monster Hunter was. It normally takes a little while. Like Rise had the same issue. It was way too easy at launch, and then they went back and they fixed it up. But it wasn't this streamlined, so I still liked it more and gave it a higher score.
Fair. Fair.
Yeah, no, it is a fantastic game that also runs like shit most of the time. So they'll fix that up too.
Yeah. If you want to check out the review, you can head over to our YouTube channel, which you're on technically right now. But don't click away from this. Do this later or read the review on XboxEra.com. We also dropped this morning for you Americans, or 2 o'clock this afternoon for us folks here in Europe land, a review for 2 Point Museum, which is from Sega and 2 Point Studios, I think, written by Sukia Brood over here at XboxEra.com. He could not capture, so just as a heads up for folks watching the video, he was unable to capture footage for the review, but we thought we'd put a video together anyway because the developers had given us so much B-roll to do so. So I whipped one together this morning. It's not my finest work, but it'll do, pig.
Ooh, a Stone Age computer.
So yeah, feel free to go check it out if you are into your kind of jokey sim games, or if you're a big fan of Theme Hospital.
Was it Bullfrog?
From Bullfrog.
Yeah.
Yep, good one. The classics. So yeah, that's available on XboxEra.com as well to read now.
You did mess that transition up. It's all black.
I messed the transition up so bad here. I feel like it's not my finest work. I missed it, and then it took too long to render, and I was just like, okay, I screwed it up. I ruined it for myself. The funny thing is, there are YouTube channels out there that people just hold their phone like this and talk, and they are infinitely, wildly more successful than us. So who cares? Next up in news, Console Wars, the card game, has officially shipped in a blog post updated today on our Kickstarter page. I'm pleased to confirm that the games are on the boat. The boat is in the sea, and hopefully it will come off of the sea and to a dock, not sink, with all of the games that are heading to our fulfillment centers across
with
the
their
US
massive new tariffs. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it should be fine. The bad news of all of that is that I said we'd ship in Q1. They are on a ship, but the reality of it is that the ship's journey can take something like 40 to 50 days to make it from China to the UK and the US. The US is a bit quicker. So unfortunately, don't expect your copy until around mid-April, which hurts me to say that out loud. You can call it a broken promise if you like. I'm kind of like tempted to say, well, they have shipped technically, but yeah,
we're not a year behind like last time.
We're not 2 years behind. There's not much I can do on it, and I apologize for the slight delay, but they are on their way. So we're in the end game now. It's all done. They are coming.
There's been a million of possibilities. We've gotten the one that gets them actually shipped.
Yes. So very, very pleased to share that info. That's it for housekeeping, really. If you want to pick up a Console Wars t-shirt, don't forget that we do have a lovely merch store over on consolewarsgame.com, where you can pick up one of the jokey game titles as a t-shirt. They're quite good. Mood is particularly popular. Right. I suppose we dive into some news then. Proper news, actual news, not our news, yeah? Idea Xbox had a showcase in partnership with IDN, and they revealed a bunch of pretty cool damn video games that are coming our way. I think the headline of the show was definitely the announcement from PlayStack and Local Thunk, the team, or the developer of Balatro, announcing that not only is Balatro getting a new Friends of Jimbo pack with things like Assassin's Creed and Fallout, that it's also coming to Game Pass, and it's Play Anywhere now across PC.
It did take a little while. People were panicking because it didn't immediately go into the PC app. It took a day. But I'm guessing they are UK based. It was late, and publishers normally have to do that, so they just had to wake up.
Yeah.
But it is full Play Anywhere. It's only 100 megabytes on PC. Nice, quick little install. Can run on damn near almost anything. I thought overall it was a really good idea at Xbox show. Much like people tend to misconstrue what should be at a state of play, where like the last state of play was fine. It was a solid state of play because they have a scope that they're going for, and the idea at Xbox is like, I would say, even smaller than the state of play because there's never anything really big or first party there. It is meant for showcasing games from smaller independent devs who use the ID at Xbox system, which people are like, NeoWiz was in there. It's like, yeah, NeoWiz uses ID at Xbox. I don't know when the game came out, like Liza P showed up on the ID at Xbox email. And the partner preview, I think, would be more akin to what a state of play is, which we also might get next month because they did one last March, I think.
Yeah, it just won't stop. All the games.
No, especially because there's like 7, 8 things on Game Pass, including Revenge of the Savage Planet coming May 8th. Like April and May got a lot of stuff added to them yesterday. There's nothing in March, oddly enough. I think that might be so. Maybe that's why Ecstasis was saying.
You're wrong.
Oh, there was one.
33 Immortals coming
There's 2 things in March, but that's like nowhere near what there was for April and May. But Ecstasis had been saying that like maybe Crash and other stuff was March. So he normally knows his Game Pass stuff.
I reported that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is going to be dropping onto Game Pass soon. That's the 2009 version. March feels like a good bet.
Yeah,
I did cover my ass by saying or April.
Of course, you've learned since Starfield.
I would bet March. But yeah, like just to call out some of the great looking games, we saw 33 Immortals, which is a co-op action roguelite. It's coming on March 18th. It's coming into game preview, which is obviously Game Pass, early access, I think, elsewhere. Blueprints is launching with Game Pass on April 10th.
The one I'm showing right now is your favorite, Jump Ship.
What is my favorite?
Jump Ship. I moved over.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, all right. I mean, I was going to say Jump Ship for the end because I'm so stupidly hyped to get my hands on with this game. That
Have you signed up?
Scream into the void. I've signed up. Send me a code so I can cover the game. Keepsake.
Oh my god, John! I think I got our first Gamescom email.
I've had one already. I've had several asking me to like, do I want a booth?
Dear sir or madam, that's what this one is. Do you want booth?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of money. No, not for that much.
No, thank you. We have Buckshot Roulette, which is already out on PC. That's coming to Game Pass. So that looks great. We've seen Descenders Next, which is coming on April 9th. Game Pass again. That's snowboarding, mountain boarding, which I'd never heard of before I saw that trailer.
Yeah, it's like longboarding type of stuff where you get the big old long one. And this was
truck wheels.
This was a slickly produced show overall, I think, in comparison to last year's, which was a little too talky. Where they were trying to do like skits in between. And this one, they just would talk for 20, 30 seconds, bam, right into something. It lets you process. I do like the occasional, like in between someone's talking, just let me think about what I just watched. Now I'll watch the next thing instead of just a nonstop playlist. There was just a lot of good looking stuff. Plenty of dates on it as well. Like not everything had a date, but lots of things set for this year, set for the next few months that just looked like a lot of fun that I immediately between this and the next thing we'll talk about got a lot of things requested for the year.
Yeah, like I just want to I'm going to call out some more of these games. So we've got Waxhead is coming to Xbox. I don't think that one is Game Pass, but that's like you're running a record store that's struggling. You've got Tron Catalyst, which is coming to Xbox June 17th. Tempopo, which is the guys that made Unpacking, completely different style of kind of puzzle game. Reminded me a little bit of Ilo Milo, if you remember that from the late 360 gen.
Nope.
That's coming April 17th. We got Tanuki, Pond Summer, the raccoon on a bike. A lot of bikes in the Idea Xbox show. Rock Beasts, which looked absolutely mental. And I loved the art style. A story-driven role-playing management game that puts you in the shoes of a manager of an upcoming rock band made of animals. We obviously saw Revenge of the Savage Planet. We saw Ratatan, which looks bonkers, from the creators of Patapon, a rhythm strategy roguelike. We saw Outbound with a camper van that you can like blow and make into a house.
Ratatan was the one where we won the guy over who thought our interview with Phil was terrible, but he really liked that I made us dance with the music because I couldn't figure out where to put us to not block the UI.
That was fun. We saw the Liza P Overture trailer, which seems to suggest cooperative.
Some people on Reddit get very mad when I saw others suggesting it looks like co-op, but I mean, it literally just has the two of them fighting in co-op at the end of the trailer. Let me see. They did a podcast unlocked immediately on after, which is smart because it's their own thing. So why not? But like this Liza P trailer right at the end here is just two people in like actual combat. You got probably Carlo, who was dipshit asshole Geppetto's kid, and then P as you use. So I thought it is a prequel, but it's because you find an artifact that sends you back in time, which is interesting. There was no time travel that I know of in the original campaign. I'm really looking forward to this, and I have thankfully found out who it is that's representing this one now, because it's not the same people as before.
Oh, interesting. Well, it's video games. They can do what they like. I'm all for doing whatever. We also saw Echo Weaver. That's coming to Game Pass. A Metroid Brainia, which looked very pretty and interesting.
So the Army National Guard.
We did see the Army National Guard sponsoring that with IGN. Hotel Barcelona from Suda51 and Swery. But obviously, yes, and I'm going to wax lyrical about it. Jump Ship from Keepsake Games, which is made up of a large group of very talented folks. I saw this
who hate you and won't talk to you.
Yeah, seemingly. He likes all my tweets, but he won't send me a code. I saw this last year at the Spring Showcase. I liked the look of it so much that I made my own video for it. I really, really want to play this. It's coming to Game Preview. It wasn't in the trailer, which is really weird. It's coming to Early Access on Steam and Xbox Game Preview with Game Pass in summer of this year. Yes. It's a 4-player, man your own spaceship, upgrade it, put out fires, maintain systems, do stuff in space and on planets. It looks brilliant and lots of fun, and I really want to play it a lot. I'd love to do a preview on it for XboxEra. So Kaplan and the Keepsake Games team, if you're watching, for the love of God, reply to my email and send me some beta codes so I can do that, please. Pretty please. Don't make me beg. Except I am begging already. But yeah, Jump Ship, man. One of my most anticipated games of the year. Like, I cannot wait. This is my jam. Like, I want this, and I want to play it now with my buddies. So great show from Idea Xbox. We also had an Annapurna showcase, which we also live streamed that occurred just before the Idea Xbox show with IGN. A little bit more muted, this one. This is a digital showcase of a few things. Considering the turmoil that Annapurna has kind of been through.
Annapurna doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
This was a Pop Agenda showcase who have taken over everything that the people who all quit Annapurna were doing. And Pop Agenda is great. Yeah. So I'm happy to work with them, but it's an odd situation.
It is very, very, very odd. But yeah, we saw Wheel World, which you may know as Ghost Bike, I think, from back in the day with a dev diary. Wonder Stop has a Steam demo out for Next Fest right now.
And that was not Xbox until this show. And it got announced.
No, it wasn't. Nope. It got announced for Xbox, and it's coming out on March 11th, so it ain't far away. Blendo's Skin Deep. So that's an oddball shooter that's coming out on April 30th.
You want to know one other thing? If you're watching a premiere, do not show the premiere countdown. That is why we don't have live chat on our co-stream anymore, because that countdown can't just be silenced. It's the video part, and I had to trim the entire video, which kills the chat. I know.
Wow, is that why?
Yep.
Wow.
Sucks.
That's
really weird also, because it is YouTube's thing. So it's like, what? Why?
Why are you punishing us for this? We saw Far Away, which is a kind of like you play a shooting star and you fly around the galaxy. We saw the absolutely bonkers trailer from To a T, which is coming to Xbox and Game Pass from Katamari Damacy creator. And that looks absolutely bonkers with a wonderful song where you caught us all dancing and singing. Lush Foil Photography Sim.
Which was one of the...
looks
like they did the use of how actual cameras and lights and everything worked was just as close, because like the actual textures and stuff, they might have been mega scans, but like it looked real because of how the camera was grabbing everything.
Yeah, it's very, very smart. I don't know how much game is there for me personally.
Yeah, it's mainly pretty. Just I mean, you're walking around taking pictures.
the best news for me is that Geometric Interactive, the creators of Cocoon, are working on a new game. They teamed up with IM8-Bit to release a collector's edition of its debut game, Cocoon, along with a vinyl soundtrack. Cool. But they were like, hey, we're also working on another one. But we didn't see anything. No. So I'll just wait patiently because that will probably be brilliant.
We have a very sad super chat from Mohammed Sherez, as he mentions, the thing I was thinking about.
And yes, unfortunately, at the Annapurna show, as per Mohammed Sherez in the chat saying, we didn't get any updates on Blade Runner from Annapurna. That's right. There was meant to be, or there is...
they have previously announced
a Blade Runner game being worked on, but we don't know.
Yeah, even the photography game had a bike in it. Man, every game had bikes.
Everyone's all about the bikes nowadays. Can't blame them. But there you go. That is everything. Every single thing from both those shows. Pretty great. Good for them.
Yeah, that was a very fun co-stream. And thanks again to Torn Raptor, who has gifted 5 people 3 months of the $12 tier on the Patreon, which is nutty great. You immediately get access to all our exclusive video stuff, of which John and I should try and do some more this week if we can.
Yes, and Clutch Quando turned up during that show and dropped 50 YouTube subs. There might be one sitting in the folder right now that you can just go grab. Go check it out. I don't know what happens to them. Do they carry on?
Pretty much they just constantly go to people, but I don't think it always shows. If you have it set to keep all of your stuff private, it won't show that you got one until you talk in its screen. You never know. YouTube's weird on this type of stuff. They do feel like they're playing catch up.
Fair enough. Anyway, in other news, Avowed, which I'm having a very, very good time with, is rocked up to the top 3 after the Game Pass launch.
On True Achievements.
Yes.
I forgot to put that in there. Sorry.
This is on True Achievements. So it's only representative of that True Achievements community. I think elsewhere it's definitely in the top 10.
It is it was number 8 when I looked in the US in most played, which is pretty good.
Yeah. But on True Achievements, at least, Call of Duty and Fortnite sit in the top 2 spots, respectively. But just below that is Avowed, which shot up 10 places since its early access launch the week before. Good for them. It's an awesome game. I am we were saying in the chat just before the show started, I like Avowed a lot. It is just streamlined enough to keep me going, but RPG-ish enough to kind of be satisfying at the same time. So I think they've walked a great line, and I find the videos and weird comparisons. I saw a comparison today on Twitter where someone was comparing fighting a bear in Avowed to fighting a bear in God of War. Like, what are we doing here?
We're looking for engagement. I mean, the majority of times, the people that do that stuff don't actually care. They don't actually give a shit. They just know that other people do. And they'll get both sides. They'll get the people who are mad. They'll get the people who are mad for the other reasons. And then they'll fight. And they'll, especially if they're Twitter blue, they might get 30 cents out of it. Like, it's just engagement farming.
It's sad.
And that, I do hate the player and I hate the game.
Fair. But yes, go play Avowed. It's great.
Yeah.
Next up, NetEase has been in the news this week as they're looking to cut more all-star game studios. This was actually dropped by Stephen Tortillo back on February 21st, which was Friday, which is why we.
And it's thankfully it's updated a lot since then with more context in what's going on.
Yeah. So they have a lot of teams.
They have a lot of money in teams. They don't actually own most of these studios. They have just funded most of them without ownership.
Like Quantic Dreams was one of them that everyone was worried about because they're working on Star Wars Eclipse. They've actually come forward and expressed some sadness that it's happening, but have said that they are otherwise unaffected. And we're continuing to develop our projects at full pace. But there are a ton of other studios in there, from Grasshopper, Studio Flare, Anchor Point Studios, T-0 Entertainment, Rebel Wolves.
Rebel Wolves also said they're okay, thankfully.
Yeah. But generally, it's because they license so much IP. Like we just mentioned Star Wars Eclipse. That's a huge license with Disney.
No, Disney gets their money.
So yeah, they're hitting the brakes a little bit, which is interesting considering the success of like NetEase's Marvel Rivals, right?
Yeah, and the Bloomberg post was about the significant cut that Disney gets, because Disney obviously has like all the bargaining power. because Disney shifted from trying to make their own stuff to just licensing it out and saying, hey, you're just going to give us a ton of money, like we saw with PlayStation on Spider-Man and all those, and the Marvel, the X-Men stuff. Like, they just get a huge cut of it. And everyone's really trying. We've seen it, like Ubisoft is trying to go back to Tom Clancy because they own the Tom Clancy rights. They don't have to pay anyone for it. They already bought them. And so while Marvel Rivals is only this big because of Marvel, and that's why they kept doing it. And they talked about the CEO was, or it was like under consideration for not doing the deal because of just how much they were going to have to give to Disney. But then we're like, it's probably going to be big enough where it will still be worth it because they're just not going to have something that would make that much money on its own. And that has been like the main thing. Yeah, IP is king. Everyone wants it. That's why Microsoft keeps buying it. Like, when you own the IP, you can do what you want with it, when you want with it, and like how you want with it, and keep all the money. And NetEase is definitely in a backing off of outside investment for studios outside of China. Not to the degree that it seemed right at the beginning. Like, right at the beginning, everyone's like, oh my God, they got rid of the entire Marvel Rivals team and they're leaving every studio that they bought. And it's like, no, the Marvel Rivals thing sucked, but it was a support team in Seattle of, I believe, 6 people that were let go, despite the game being, insanely popular and doing incredibly well. Let them go, focus on the main devs in China making everything, and reevaluating all of their studios. And people took that reevaluation as meaning leaving, when it turns out it's more actually just they are reevaluating. Some are fine, some will probably not be, others they'll look to maybe sell off. It's a microcosm of how rough the industry's really been. Like, it's been hard to get funding because there's an insane amount of money in it. Like, games aren't going to crash. There's too much money in it. It's still the biggest entertainment industry. It's just really top heavy. And it's very hard to break into that top. So they have with Marvel Rivals, but then they have to give away a lot of it. So, not always the most fun thing. And NetEase as a company has definitely come off as pretty horrible in the past. So, not a shocker.
It just makes me wonder, man, like, all of these kind of IP-driven deals, how much are they costing Sony? Sony do a lot of these things.
Oh, we saw the contract.
How much is Microsoft spending on Blade and Indiana Jones? Like, what was the cut given there?
Well, remember, Phil was like, yeah, it's got to be a really good pitch, essentially, is what it sounded like. He said, like, I don't want to do them. So if you really want it, I won't. I'll keep, if it's really good pitch, we can do it to make you happy. But otherwise, I'd really prefer not to, is how it always came off when he talks about just how much they have to give up on those IP deals.
Ish.
But Indiana Jones was a very good pitch because holy crap, that game's good.
Yeah, I love that game, man. Next up in news, Circana results dropped for January from Matt Piscatella, highlighting the video game market in the US. Consumer spending on video game hardware, content, and accessories fell a whopping 15% across the board, comparatively to a year ago, to just $4.5 billion. Oh no, said all the executives, only $4.5 billion, whilst finishing 0.3% ahead of January's 2023.
Hardware down everywhere. Like, the big thing is accessories are down. It's not just consoles, but people are buying less accessories, which means they're playing less and breaking their controllers less.
It's just a bit rubbish, really, isn't it?
He's talked about it before. We are in the downside. Like, Xbox peaked in 2022, Sony peaked in 2023, Switch peaked years ago. Like, everything's on the downward trend. So the Switch 2 hitting this year, like even the PS5
and
Pro,
GTA 6.
Yeah, GTA 6, Switch 2, your regular Call of Duty type of stuff, and also like the PS5 Pro is now lagging behind the PS4 Pro, which itself wasn't a huge seller. Again, it's only for the US market. And Sony does better globally than Microsoft does by a country mile. So I'm sure they're not sad, but Sony, much like Microsoft, is still trying to get their margins better. Like, because the way to make more money isn't to actually make more, it's to keep more, because Sony hasn't been keeping that much lately, which they've been going on and on about, and which is seemingly one of the big reasons they did so many executive changes. Because despite all the success, they're just spending more than ever to make more than ever.
Interesting note, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was January's best-selling video game, ranking first on PlayStation platforms while second on Xbox platforms. But according to player engagement, Call of Duty HQ, which is what shows up as what people are playing, is ranked first in total monthly active users on Xbox Series consoles, but second on PS5. So, cake and eating it, something like that. Digital games, pretty much the norm now for the majority of platforms.
It was. It's also the norm for selling Xboxes. It was 80% digital, I think he said, 80 to 20.
Crazy.
That robot white Series X was half compared to the Series S. So people like people don't. I've never bought a disc for that. I've got one disc in my house. It's Batman Arkham Origins on the 360 because you can't get it digitally back compat. Even though it is back compat, you had to have owned it before. You can't buy it now.
Yeah.
People don't give a shit about discs.
Brit in the chat says, because of upcoming tariffs, Sony has stockpiling consoles to the US, according to a news article the other day, even though they'd still be impacted by the tariffs. Yeah, it's basically an avoidance tactic. Get it over there first while we're not paying the tariff on it, and then we don't have to raise the prices. I think they were quoted as saying, we don't want to have to raise prices, so we're doing some preventative measures. It's just a complete fucking shit show. Next up in the complete fucking shit show stories, Assassin's Creed Shadows physical editions are already out, leaked, and being streamed online a full month before the game is actually released, which is March 20th, I think.
Yeah, so this was the original time frame for it to be released, so the discs still went out because redoing all of their logistics on shipping probably wasn't worth it. And then expecting none of those hundreds of thousands of copies to ever leak was probably too much. But yeah, it sucks. And I know people get so mad at Ubisoft execs, and I get it. They seem like shit. But the actual people that work on games generally work on them because they love them and they want to make great things. So I feel bad for them to have all your work, especially early work, that does not have the final patch, as Ubisoft said in a tweet, like they're playing an older version of the game. It's not fully representative of what you are going to get at launch. Hell, even what we review is rarely representative of what you get at launch. Yeah, it stinks. So if you're worried about spoilers, I don't know how you can avoid them for a month, but I hope you can.
Yeah. Good luck. I mean, I'm glad that I've never really that frustrated with spoilers.
It's funny.
A movie is movie spoilers and TV spoilers would annoy me, but game spoilers, it's just
yeah. We were gonna watch The Gorge, and I hadn't watched anything about it, and I was like, okay, I just want to go into this completely blind. And Amanda just kept, and in the trailer, this happens. Like, no, I just want to go in blind. I don't want to know anything. She's like, but I want to tell you my guess. I'm like, you can write it down or something because I love you, but stop trying to tell me about this movie I don't want to know anything about before I watch. It was good. It was a solid popcorn romance flick with
I enjoyed it.
A lot of action. It was a fun genre mashup, really.
Yeah,
a bit superhero-y.
Some good performance,
but it was fun.
Next up in horrible shit show, the games industry news, Dauntless is actually shutting down. I think this was rumored for a while. This is coming via Matt Wales over at Eurogamer. Just weeks after laying off the majority of its staff, developer Phoenix Labs has announced it's shutting down its free-to-play Monster Hunter style action game, Dauntless. Its fast-paced take on Monster Hunter formula received a warm reception when it launched onto PC Early Access in May of 2018, but it has struggled to maintain that early momentum following a wider launch a year later, and its journey is now officially coming to an end.
Yeah, so they messed up bad when they completely rebooted the game and changed it all up in ways that the people who were really dedicated into it absolutely hated, and it just killed the game.
Yeah. It's shutting down on May 29th, 2025. Dauntless will receive no additional content or updates. It will no longer be available to play on or after May 29th, 2025 at 11:45 p.m. PST. Thanks to all of you for being a part of the Dauntless journey. That is pretty rubbish.
I liked Dauntless when it was new. I did fall off of it pretty hard because it's nearly impossible to keep up with live service stuff in our job. But it's another case of mismanagement. It had an audience, and they wildly changed the base game instead of doing a sequel or anything else, and that was it.
The end. Next up, I'm trying to read this. I'm getting a 404 error from these guys. That's weird.
Yeah, it was just a breakdown
really
of everything that Unity had done last year.
Yeah, this is weird. So the story is Unity cut ties with over 1,700 workers and closed 23 offices in 2024. Which
it's
is
where it used to
crazy.
work.
Yeah, mate.
No, it's just game developer. Yeah, no, their site must just be having issues.
Yeah, their site is really slow. There's something hicky going on there. I'd love to read more about that. But apparently they spent 214 million on a colossal restructuring program, and now there's been 1,700 workers fired and 23 offices closed in 2024. That sounds rough. I can't tell you more because I can't read more.
Yeah, their website's blown up. Maybe they're doing some maintenance or something. All I know is that John Riccitello is not a very well-liked man in gaming for a reason.
Cheeseworks, a random Cheeseworks in the chat appearing out of nowhere saying, like the stream, y'all. Glad to see you, Cheeseworks. Hope you're well, my man. Next up, Surgeon Simulator developer Bossa Games, however you want to say it, confirms layoffs amid industry turmoil. This is gamedeveloper.com. Oh, this one's loading though. That's nice. Their website is really balked. Bossa Games has laid off an undisclosed number of employees due to what it has branded a fundal transformation of the games industry. This comes from Chris Kerr, the news editor over at gamedeveloper.com. They laid off a third of its workforce in January of last year. 40 people remained with the studio following those redundancies, and now they've made additional cuts in a bid to survive. Studio CEO Henrique Olifers has said that the past couple of years have brought a significant amount of disruption to the games industry at large, with treasured studios, teams, and games being shut down or significantly scaled back. We've all read the news, suffered through the changes ourselves, or seen it through the eyes of peers and colleagues affected, he wrote on LinkedIn. In our view, this is not a phase, it's a fundal transformation of the games industry, a reshape of how games are made and by what kinds of teams. The industry of 2 years in the future will not look like the industry of 2 years ago. On this, I agree with him. Like, there's a whole topic to dive into here about what the hell the industry as a entity is going to do to make this still viable. Because look, and for all of the fanboys, the people that cheer sales of hardware, all of that nonsense, none of it's going to matter, because if the games don't sell, then they're not going to keep spending the money on them to make them. They are going to get smaller because it just has to, or it's unsustainable. So Game Pass, not unsustainable. That's the thing that people are clinging to. You ask any indie dev out there, they'll take a Game Pass deal. They won't badmouth it.
Nope.
They'll take one because it will keep them alive. This is bad. Like, there is so much to dive into on this topic.
The industry is going from being constantly in growth phase to being no longer in constant growth phase, and it was in constant growth phase for almost 40 years straight. So it's a complete, everything, the way it works is just different, because there's still tons of money to be made. It's just how do you find that money in a way that attracts investors? And it's really hard. So investors just might not be as much of a thing, which means then you're stuck working with the big players in the industry, and you can't go out there and get independent funding on stuff. That makes it a lot harder. It's like, if you're not already entrenched in some way with money coming in, it makes it infinitely harder to ever have any type of size to a team. So it's like you have to start super small and then build up slowly, which is hard.
This is why you're seeing veteran developers go off and actually build themselves a little core group of 10, 12, maybe 20, and just that is us, and we're just going to make this. That's why I love the recent talk from Obsidian about staying alive for 100 years, because their conversation is, we make a game to the scale that we want to make it, and we make it quick. Look at what they've put out so far since ownership of Microsoft: Pentiment, Grounded, Avowed, They just released the Outer Worlds, the first one, as they were bought, and then boom, they've got the Outer Worlds 2 coming out. That's 4 games in what? 5 years?
With another one coming this year.
Instead of 1 game in 5 years. What makes more sense to you people? Like, genuinely, do you want one Avowed that takes 6-7 years to make, where the fish are in the river and you can fish them and you can kill the wildlife, and I don't know, like whatever other bullshit comparison you want to make to Skyrim of ages ago? Or do you want 4 or 5 games from Obsidian over 5 years? You tell me which world you prefer to live in, because I know which one I like. And that's where the industry needs to go. Like, random anecdote. You've got me going now because I'm fired up.
I didn't say anything.
Well, I'm blaming you anyway. You know, like when you see these stories about, oh, only this many people unlocked the first achievement for completing the game, you know, like even though they may have bought all the games. Why? Because games are too fucking long. They are. They just are. I get that there's a world of people that love 100-hour long things. Why is Monster Hunter the way it is? Because otherwise people will just stop playing, because they don't have the time between YouTube and life and TikTok and Twitter and films and TVs and kids. And this is why the games industry is changing. I would bank on it. There you go. Sorry, small rant.
I know you say Avowed was made in 6 years and took 2 reboots. Bad example, but it wasn't just Avowed. It was all the other games that made alongside Avowed. Is what he's talking about.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. It's not just like, I'm not just singularly focusing on Avowed, but Avowed was deliberately, it sounds like, scaled back. No, how about we don't do multiplayer? How about we just bring this down to what we want to do? And they did. That's my point. It's all about management, scope.
Yeah, and it is nice to have, you still have the everythings. You have the bigger things from the bigger publishers. But when you're not one of those bigger publishers and you don't have 4,000 people to work on a game between 20 different studios, you have to properly scale and scope and do all your things correctly. And it's hard.
I mean, I'm reading the chat. Some nice comments, some interesting discussion. I think this is, maybe I should do like a longer like me talk at the camera opinion piece. I don't know. But Abdul114, YouTube member on the chat, says these 2 times a week news shows are dope. You're right, they are. It's our 100th episode of doing this. A year ago on Thursday, this week, I went full time with XboxEra in a daring quit my job and hope to pull this off move. Will I pull it off?
Nope.
I have no idea. Oh. We're on the edge right now financially, so don't want to have to go get.
And it sucks constantly having to ask people for Patreon and stuff. I wish we did not have to do that.
But also, head to patreon.com/XboxEra, please, for the love of God. But other interesting comments here. Obsidian is the insomniac of Microsoft, from Abdul. Didactbr says, Avowed is short, though. I want more of it. Bro, I've seen people spend 26 hours on the first region alone. That's like 4 games for me. I've spent a significant amount of time in Avowed, and I've mainlined a lot of it. I've still done a fair bit of side stuff, but it's fine. It's a perfectly decently sized game, and this is where people need to just like get with the program. Yeah, I loved it. I'm loving it. Anyway, sorry, minor rant. I'm finished now. I'll calm down.
Sure thing.
Next up in news, inside Call of Duty and on the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 website, there's a timer ticking down to the 3rd of March of 2025. Am I reading that date right? Did you put that date in?
Yes, it literally says 03.04.2025. March.
Well, then is that
4th?
The American date?
So yes, of course it's American. March 4th.
Okay.
Month, date. Month, date. It's not that different than date month.
It's very confusing. But yeah, sounds like there's another Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
A lot of people think, and there was also a tweet from Tony Hawk the Game, where you've got good old Tony Hawk standing in front of a 03/04/25 sign with his silhouette, which is an amalgam of the silhouettes from 3 and 4, one could say. Like, it looks quite a bit like them. And then another picture of him hanging out with a bunch of his old buddies, who now do look quite old because it's been many years, but they've all still got their skateboards as they were skaters and are. It says loading new parks. So it would feel like on March 4th, 2025, which is the next Game Pass drop day, we should get something Tony Hawk related, which I would not be shocked if Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 HD goes into Game Pass and this game gets announced.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
And also, if you're wondering who's doing it, because Vicarious is now Blizzard Albany and work on Diablo, it says Iron Galaxy at the bottom of TonyHawkTheGame.com below the countdown timer.
Interesting. There you go. There you go. I did not know that. I couldn't give two shits about Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but I recognize and understand that for a lot of people out there
have good taste and do care.
Nostalgia.
That remaster is really fun.
I'm sure it was. It's just not my jam.
You get old man skills.
Yeah, I've got no skills, 0 skills. So that's cool. But in other Call of Duty-esque news, Activision news, Steam are forcing people to admit and acknowledge if they've used any generative AI in their games as a part of being on the Steam store page. And Call of Duty Steam page has finally confirmed
the very obvious thing.
Have used generative AI months after.
Six Fingers Santa Zombie kind of gave it away, but 6 and 4. He had 10.
So I remember discussing this. We were like, is it just like a bit of the pavement? It just looks like a finger.
It just looked like AI art that somebody had gone in and photoshopped up.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. It now says on the Steam page there is an AI disclosure which simply states our team uses generative AI tools to help develop some in-game assets. Now, everyone's going to freak the fuck out about this. I don't know how much I care about this. Like, I don't know, maybe regardless if it was Microsoft or not doing it, for just like a shitty little loading screen, who gives a shit? I think the thing you probably need to be concerned about is if you're dropping money on a microtransaction for a skin and all that someone's done is type a prompt into a generative AI and it's generated some awful image and you've spent money on it and it costs them virtually nothing to produce, then I'd be annoyed.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a developing situation over the next couple of years with generative AI. I don't think it's particularly a great thing for the industry, despite what Microsoft are touting as game preservation, yada, yada, yada. I'd need to see that in action.
They're $100 billion into trying to figure out how AI can actually be useful for anything outside of like helping you with the mundanity of coding.
Yeah, like I could see a world where you could create sort of like linguistic AI that you could program inconsequential NPCs with to appear more interesting, so they react to a player in a slightly more believable way than trying to code a bunch of canned responses to something that might happen.
Yeah, that's been one of the things Ubisoft's working on. Yeah, like crowd tech, and there are certain use cases, and it always comes with a caveat. The companies are like, we're not going to use this to fire people, and then they are. Like that's the reason why people won't give in. Like there might be decent uses for it, but there's just almost no reason to trust any company to ever stick to anything they say, especially around this, when we know so many of the more, I can just be outright shitty right now because of the way the world is, companies just say, yep, we're going to fire everyone and use our chatbots for
it's
suicide hotline.
I'm reading on VGC from Chris Scullion here. He's put a note at the bottom of this particular article around the AI use of COD. In a GDC survey published January last year, 50% of developers, that's half of the developers that responded, said generative AI tools were being used at their workplace, with a whopping 84% saying, we're a bit concerned about this. 31% of those respondents said they personally did use tools like ChatGPT, DALL-E, GitHub Copilot, and Adobe Generative Fill at their business, while a further 18% said they didn't, but others in their workplace did. So, I mean, it's everywhere.
It's on the XboxEra YouTube streams and the going live when I make those stupid songs.
those stupid songs are all AI generated. Well, why? Because it's a lot easier for us to do that and not get pinged. And plus, Jesse really enjoys making ridiculous saxophone filled covers.
It mostly just comes down to every time I try to find music that won't get us pinged, eventually it does. Like there was another one like Cyberpunk Future or something that I had been using for a while. Had to go back into like 17 live streams and mute it because somebody claimed it, even though they don't own it. It is a YouTube audio library thing. They don't actually own it, but YouTube's algorithms for doing copyright claims are so easy to break that people will just steal stuff to try and get money.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's it. That's pretty much all the news, ladies and gents. What more is there to say? One last thing. We can throw this in there with regards to Konami and Bloober team. They've confirmed that they are working on a new game together following the success of Silent Hill 2. This is coming from Chris Scullion over at VGC. The game will be based on Konami's IP, but it isn't explicitly confirmed to be a new Silent Hill. They've just announced that they are working together again. Off we go. The full quote is, "The trust built upon the success of Silent Hill 2 laid the foundation for signing another agreement for a new project." They've said in a press release, the deal aligns with Bloober Team's strategic plan to expand its internal development division with a first-party framework.
I'm interested because they're doing that. Was it Chronos game?
Yep.
So
with Xbox.
Yeah. Well, no, it's on. I think that's on everything, but it was at an Xbox partner preview.
Isn't it Game Pass though? I'm sure it was on Game Pass.
I don't think so.
Interesting thing. I might be wrong. I don't know. I just work here. I'm often wrong. There you go. That's it. That's all the news. That's all the news, people. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you do enjoy these shows, in fact, consider supporting us directly on Patreon by heading to patreon.com/XboxEra. Jesse and I will be back on Thursday with another roundup of video game
Maybe
news.
A little bit of a celebration of ourselves because it's episode 100.
Episode 100 of headlines. Wow, we've already caught up a third of the way, more or less.
Right, doing 2 every week. You get there pretty quick.
We're catching up to the old mainline podcast now, and we hope you enjoy them. We really do. Like, we have fun doing them, and it's nice to catch up, chat with folks in the middle of the day. And
I do kind of wish we had done Tuesday, Friday, because we give way more time to get news stories for the second show.
We can switch it to Friday. There's nothing.
People are really used to Thursday though, and I've found in the past Friday is one of the worst days for live streams because I don't know why
people are doing things.
Yeah,
fair enough.
We'll keep it Thursday.
We got.
Yeah,
don't worry. No changes are coming, people. Yeah. Until then, be good to each other. Play loads of video games because there's certainly more than enough of them. Support your favorite devs. Be good people to each other. And if you want a place to chat and hang out and have fun with cool people, head over to either the forums, forum.xboxera.com, or our wonderful community Discord, discord.gg/XboxEra. 1,000 members strong as of last week, I think.
Yep.
It's a tier 3 server. It's really good. And I love the conversation in there. I often wake up in the morning and catch up on the night before. Although this morning was weird. Senior Bean, reach out to me and tell me you're okay, buddy. I'm worried about you. There's just a strange outburst, and then I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it's fun times. We'll see you soon. Ciao for now, everyone.
Leather straps on stapled eyes, got a screen. lost the game too fast. We don't read between the lines. Cut too deep to see the signs. Watch me as my blood runs cold. Now your Bible can take hold. Ooh, you know I'm gone. Ooh, you go, I'm on to you now. Ooh, you know I'm gone. Ooh, go, I'm on to you now. I'm on to you. Which side do I wanna be? This side's got a hold on me. Don't try this